Hi guys, and welcome back to All Things Korean. So the other day I was on my morning commute to work, as usual, crammed against other people in the subway, and I overheard the guy next to me taking a call on his phone, and the conversation from his side went exactly like this.
네, 대리님. 네네, 네. 네? 네? 네.
And that was it. That is literally all he said. He started the conversation with ne, and all throughout the conversation he said ne like 10 times, and then he ended the conversation with ne, and then he just hung up. So the entire conversation from his side was just ne. And listening to this, I realized that I didn't really find that particularly strange. I realized that it is perfectly normal to say ne as an answer for so many different situations. So I thought this would be a great idea for a video. In this one, I'm going to teach you 5 different meanings that the simple word ne can have. So by the time you are done watching this video, you will understand why it was perfectly normal for this guy on the train to have a conversation in which all he said was ne and still make complete sense. Now, before we get on to the video, let me just remind you that ne means yes, and it is 존댓말. So this is an honorific form of speech that you adopt when you are talking to someone who is older than you, or someone higher than you in rank, or a stranger, someone you just need to be very polite to. If you are addressing someone who is none of the above, someone who is your age or younger or lower in rank, you can always substitute this ne with an But for today, we're just going to deal with ne. Starting with the first meaning, ne is what you say when someone is addressing you and you are responding. This is similar to English. Someone calls out your name, you might say yes, or in Korean, you can say ne. Also in school, when the teacher is taking attendance, the teacher calls out everyone's names one by one. In English, or in the States where I went to school, we would respond with here when our name was called. However, in Korea, we would also respond with ne. Now, I just said that this is used when someone is addressing you, right? So it's a similar concept for phone conversations. All phones have caller ID these days. So when you get a call, you know who's calling you, unless it's an unknown number, right? So let's say my mom was calling me. I looked at my phone, I'm getting a call, and it turns out to be my mom. When I answer, I know it's going to be her on the other line. So instead of saying 여보세요, like most people would, I also have the alternative option of answering just with 네, or 네 and then address the person who's calling you. So if my mom were calling me, I could respond with 네 엄마. Likewise, when my aunt, my mom's sister-in-law, who is younger than her, when my mom calls her, she tends to also respond with a 네 언니 instead of 여보세요. She calls my mom 언니. The second meaning of 네 is the one that all of us know. It's yes, as in the answer to a yes or no question. These are some examples. 샘물 씨, 밥 먹었어요?
네.
주말에 저랑 같이 영화 보러 가실래요?
네?
Keep in mind that this is the only situation in which you can answer with an 아니요 instead of 네, because it is literally an answer to a yes or no question. For all the other situations or the meanings that I will be explaining in this video, the only way that you can answer is with a 네. You can't replace it with an 아니요. So just keep that in mind. The third meaning for 네 is just a sound that you make to indicate that you are listening. So let's say someone called you, they have a bunch of things to say, or they're ranting or venting or whatever. They're going on and on and on. If you just stay silent on the phone or in person, it's kind of weird, it's kind of awkward. It kind of looks like you're not paying attention if you don't acknowledge that the other person is speaking. So if this were English, I would say something like, doesn't really mean anything. It's just a sound that you make. Likewise, in Korean, we just say 네, or 응 if it's 반말, just to indicate that we're listening, just to let them know that we're here. It's just a sound. The fourth meaning of 네 can be translated to what? It's a question. So when you say this 네, then the tone goes a bit up at the end. I'm going to divide this to 4-1 and 4-2 because although they can both be translated as what, there's a slight difference, and I'm going to explain to you that right now. So 4-1 is when you are talking to someone and you missed what that other person is saying. You didn't catch that last bit. So you're saying what? As in sorry? Pardon? I didn't hear that. Can you repeat that for me again? So most of the time, this is just a short, clipped 네 that kind of goes up at the end. Let's say you're with me on the subway and you're overhearing my conversation. Can you tell which is the 네 that indicates that I didn't hear what the other person was saying?
네. 네. 네.
네?
네.
I hope that was an obvious one. It was number 4, the one that went 네. That's the only one that kind of sounded like a question, right? Now 4-2 is the same what, but it doesn't mean that you literally couldn't hear what the other person is saying. It's what as in I heard you, but what you said was just so unbelievable I have to ask again. So it's not a, sorry, what? It's a what? You can basically just use this for any situation that seems a bit surprising.
저 이번 달까지만 일하고 그만두기로 했어요.
네? The last meaning of 네, number 5, is a confirmation. It's more like an okay, or got it, I understand. It's acknowledging that you have heard what the other person is saying and you are giving your consent or your confirmation. So let's take a look at a couple of examples again.
그 보고서 오늘까지 좀 부탁드려요.
네.
그럼 내일 4시에 봬요.
네. Now let me add in a little bonus. Do you know how to end a phone conversation in Korean? Do you know what bye is in Korean? In English, when you talk to someone on the phone, you end it with a goodbye. Yeah, okay, I'll see you tomorrow. Bye. Bye. But Koreans don't say bye when they hang up the phone because what is goodbye in Korean? Is it 안녕 or 안녕하세요? No, that's more for hello, although in 반말 안녕 can mean goodbye. Is it 안녕히 가세요? Is it 안녕히 계세요? Not really, because those phrases are for when someone is leaving and someone is staying, right? But no one's leaving anyone in a phone conversation. You're just disconnecting the phone. So there isn't really like a particular phrase that everyone uses when they hang up the phone. Now, if this were a customer service and you were, calling to ask for help or anything, if you were on the phone with some sort of business representative or whatever, both of you might end with a 감사합니다 before hanging up the phone. But when you're talking to friends or family, there isn't one phrase that you can use. And that's where it's just 네. But it's a finalizing kind of 네. So normally when it's the last 네 of a phone conversation, we will lengthen it. It will go 네 instead of a 네. And before the final 네 or the 응, normally we just throw in a sentence that is kind of an indicator to end the conversation. We say things like 아, 네, 그럼 또 연락 드릴게요. 네. 네, 그럼 내일 봬요. 네. 네, 네, 들어가세요. 네. 들어가세요 doesn't really mean like, go in. It's just like an expression to say, okay, go in. We're going back into our own separate lives. So we say things like that, and you might have noticed that when I do say these sentences, the tone also kind of stretches and kind of creeps up a little bit. 들어가세요. 내일 봬요. And then the other person would also respond with a 네. So this is just the hint that you get that the conversation is ending. So next time if you ever have a chance to talk with a Korean on the phone or something casual, you will know how to end the conversation. And that's all I have for today. Those were 5 different meanings that ne can have depending on the situation. I hope this clarifies how this guy that I overheard on the train can have a full conversation by just saying ne. Let's just go through 1 through 5 really quickly before I end this video. Number 1 is when you're responding to someone who's calling to you. Number 2 is when you're answering to a yes or no question. Number 3 is just a sound you make to indicate that you're listening to someone. Number 4 can translate to what, which can mean what I didn't hear you, or what I heard you, but that was unbelievable. And number 5 is just ne as a confirmation to indicate that you have heard what the other person is saying and you agree, or you confirm what they're saying. I'm pretty sure there are more meanings to ne than the ones that I specified in this video. I just wanted to illustrate how this one little word can have so many meanings. I'm sure that if you talk to Koreans, you will also be using ne in all of these situations. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to All Things Korean for more videos on all Korean everything. Yeah, I'll see you in the next one. 다음 영상에서 만나요.